Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Project Syracuse. And I know I said we'll do Houdini this episode at the end of last episode, but I just want to start my character. So we are going to do some base mesh. And what I mean is the armor in the game will work in this way. You'll have 6 slots to fill in inside your gameplay, and one of them, the clothing slot, will be a new model, and everything on top of it will be kind of socketed onto it. So the first thing clothing we're going to do is going to be that of a Roman slave, because that's how the game starts, as a Roman slaves escape. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our middle res and we're going to clone it. And once we clone it, we're going to select only the body, delete hidden to get rid of the eyes and all this. We don't need it. And I'm going to go to mRGB on the standard brush and just a few objects, just to have this kind of a skin-ish tone, a little bit too yellowy, but it doesn't matter. I think it works for now. Okay, so I could do this inside Marvelous, however I decided to sculpt it inside Zbrush because the reward of spending too much time in Marvelous creating an actual clothing piece, it's not going to be enough to just the time I'll spend there. It does not justify the amount of time you'll see this mesh. 99.5% of the time you have armor on top of it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to sculpt it, and to do that I'm going to use, let me show you just quickly. Okay, we are going to give it a little bit of a resolution. So I'm going to sculpt using my brushes, like folding brushes that I made. If you want to get those, go to my Gumroad and get them. It's free. If you want to support me by leaving a buck, that's fine, but otherwise it's free. And the only difference between them is that they do this kind of a little bit of a gravity thing, and basically if you sculpt out and then hold Alt and sculpt in, you can get like nice fold things, while the normal stand brush will do you know straight out. And I have 2 of them. I have the one you just saw, and I have a smaller one which is based off the damn standard brush, right? This is more of a compression fold to do, or stuff like this. And then you have a pinch brush that just pinches it in real tight if you need it, which you need to be a little bit of a bigger size to feel it. There we go. All right, so if you want to get those, go to Gumroad. If you want to make your own. I would actually be very interested to see what you've made in terms of your brushes. All right, to begin with, let's work like this. We're going to duplicate this. There we go. We're going to we're going to control D, delete lower, delete hidden. Doesn't have any hidden. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go for a resolution of 900 without any blur. I'm just going to dynamesh it. Awesome. And we're going to get rid of the color on this. Right, so now we can start by creating where we want our the end of our loincloth to be, right? And I know I would like something like this. I'm probably a little bit more up. My god, I have a new desk, guys, and my keyboard stays in a different way, so I have to press Ctrl and S every time I press Ctrl D, because I'm not used to its position yet. Anyway, so this is the bottom part of our kind of loincloth or whatever, and now we're going to just do the top part. And let's first get rid of his arms, because we won't be needing those. Right, you can redynamesh it, but you will lose the mask anyway. So next thing, we're going to use our control, our mask lasso. There you go. Oops. There you go. Now we have this polygroup here. So what we need to do is create our second polygroup. And I always create it with the outside of the lasso. So basically, when you draw with the lasso, you have a side that you draw, and the other one is straight side that finishes your selection, and that's what I use. All right, now we are going to auto group. We're going to get this. Oops. Okay, I have not been able to mask those things here, so let's do this with the mask pan. There we go, that should be enough. Control W, and now we can auto group it. Yep, now we'll get a different group, and we can get this group and this group, and delete hidden. And now we have the beginning of our long cloth. Right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to let's see, yeah, let's solo it first, and let's go to masking, mask by features. It's also here in my UI. If you want to get this UI, go to the aforementioned Gunroad. The UI is free as well. And we're going to invert the selection, and when you go mask by features, it selects one of these three features. I have all of them on, but I don't care too much because I don't have anything but borders. So now I'm going to polish by feature with an open point. There we go. That should be enough. And now I'm just going to make sure I don't have anything outside my selection, and I'm going to start zero meshing it. We're going to zero mesh with adaptive size of 0 and target poly count of 10, which is 1/4 of what we have now, and we're going to zero mesh it. And once I zero mesh to 10, and as you can see, it's much easier to work with it now. Now I can start zero meshing it by half until I get the density I want. And I can always inflate it by 1. There we go. To start working with. Probably let's up the adaptive size, not to 20 is too much. Let's do 10. Right. And half again. Cool. And now we have a very few points to work with, which is good for me. I don't mind it. Right. So now we can, first of all, let's fix this thing here. And to fix it, we are going to use clay. You can use standard as well. However, I like that the clay has it has kind of a peak, while the standard brush will inflate as much as you want, which is not something we want. And we're going to fit his to fix his butt crack, right? So basically, what you do is you clay up and then smooth it, and you still want something out there, like it's still underwear. However, you don't want this to be as it was, very tight. It's not a superhero suit, it's an actual clothing. So okay, let's fix our parts a little bit, and now we can start zero meshing with the same resolution. However, I'm going to go to my Z modeler brush, and I'm going to go and insert a single edge loop, and I'm going to give it a little, give it a little bit more geometry here. Can I do it here? No, without. Actually, let's give it a little bit geometry here and then zero mesh it. And yeah, okay. It's not perfect, but we can work with it. Okay. Once again, have in mind this, we don't want it to be too bulky because there will be armor on top of it, and this is what you need. All right, once we have this, we can give it some thickness. So how I do this is I use the Z modeler, and depending on your piece, right, you might want to use, I just hit double so we can see it better. You might want to use extrude or Q-mesh. If two sides collide, when it's extrude, they will protrude through each other, while when it's Q-mesh, they will collapse and you will lose the faces. So let's try Q-mesh for now, and I'm going to go all polygons, and I'm going to go in, right? And then if I go out of double, you'll see everything is flipped. So I'm going to flip it. All this is in the visibility, no? Somewhere around here. Display properties, yeah, double and flip. Once again, if you use something a lot, make it in a menu or stick it in your UI, because Zbrush is all about saving seconds. And now I'm going to Q-mesh it out holding shift, but not all polygons. I'm going to Q-mesh polygroup all, and I'm going to Q-mesh it out. Oops. Q-mesh it out. Now and as you can see, I'm now creating an extrusion. If I hold shift, I'm making it a little bit thicker. There we go. Let's see how it looks from silhouette. That's pretty much what I was going for. Okay, and now we can start actually going very, we can start making adding the mass where we want to add a mass. So I'm just fixing this here a little bit more. If you go to 0.1 of move, then you are basically moving vertices, which is awesome. Otherwise, if you use this Accu curve here, you can do the same. It's much more tight when you move stuff with Accu curve on. Okay, so we have this, and I'm going to duplicate it just in case. And I'm going to hide this one and work on this. So now what we need to do is we need to start adding geometry. However, we do not want this piece here. It's not necessary. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it, and once we have it, we are going to Control Shift S. Yep. And when you do Control Shift S, you shrink it, right? So we are going to shrink it once more and polygroup it, and now we have two polygroups that we can get rid of this one because we have everything we need. So delete hidden, and this is only high poly, right? So we don't worry about the technical side. And now we can start actually, let's give it an edge loop here, and let's try give it an edge loop here. Oops. That's fine. Okay, we'll work with this. Okay, so now what we can do is we can start subdividing it, and 500,000 probably will do. What I do, I usually go up a lot of levels to the point, all the way to the point where I know I won't need any more. So probably this is enough. 2.3 million is enough, and then I just go down to the sub level I want and start from there. And I go up, but first I go up as high as I think I'll need. There are some downsides to this, of course, but I think it's better to, if you have any idea what you need, to be able to do it. Right? So now here we have to go all the way back and fix it. So there we go, just the way we did with the butt crack here. Do this better. You want it to be smooth, but you don't want it to look like the dude is wearing a diaper, right? We want some mass here. Now, a good thing when working with that much of a thin mesh is to always use backface mask where you need it. That way, if you want to do something here, it won't affect the top. Where if you didn't have backface mask, you do something here, it will destroy the other side. So backface is good because here I will, when I add the belt, I'll have a lot of wrinkage around it, so we need it. So the belt, I've done a tutorial on it, so it will be on time lapse. Enjoy it, and we'll talk at the end of it. And then I will sculpt this whole thing, and we'll talk at the end of the video. Enjoy the time lapse. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we should put a pin to it for this episode. We did pretty good. We did pretty much what we set out to do. The one thing that we have to still do is his shoes or sandals, whatever. But one, this video is getting way too long. It should be more than 30 minutes. And two, it's a different set of problems we have to tackle and rules we have to like obey by when we do shoes. It's rather different than clothing, at least for me. When I'm doing shoes and clothing in Zbrush, it's pretty different. So we should leave it for another episode. And with that, if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button. It helps the channel immensely to be found on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, it's much appreciated. Share, comment on the video, give me your suggestions. If you have any questions, ask them. I always answer them most of the times with videos. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.